Okay, next up, allow me to introduce Arel with Deposition School.
Hello everyone, I'm Arel from Turkey and it's my project, Deposition School. So the project starts with some sort of questions. What if the school of the ground wasn't a building, but a living, evolving topography? And can the changing bodies of the underground let us to improve our perception for rural? What if architecture could grow slowly like moss, dissolve like salt, or shiver like the ground beneath our feet? In the eastern highlands of Turkey, at the edge of Lake Van, lies Dönemeç village, a place where mountains fracture, rivers slow down, and the earth moves. This is not a tale of rural nostalgia, but a story of deposition, of how architecture can emerge from the ground, respond to time, and host the unexpected. Rural territories are often imagined as still, backward, or empty, but they are full of contingencies, unpredictable, cyclic, and interspecies relations. Dönemeç is situated where a river from the Iranian mountains meets Lake Van. Its soil is ancient, unstable, and active. The Şamran Fault cuts through the village, triggering over 50 springs, many from Permian age karstic formations, travertine, limestone, alluvium, all coexist in motion. This geologic dynamism doesn't just shape the land. It shapes how people live. Washing clothes in the river, grazing animals near wetlands, feeling the tremors underfoot. The hinterland here is not a void behind civilization. It's a reactive, multi-species zone of interaction. So the Deposition School is a proposal that treats the ground as an actor, not a backdrop. It proposes exploring the concept of the hinterland and its ability to create by interacting with the contingent elements, both material and immaterial, within the rural intersectionality and temporality. It imagines architecture as a slow accumulation of calcium carbonates, of relations, of uncertainty, of programs. A seismic robotic pole initiates this process. It moves through the underground layers, detects shifts, and guides deposition. The school views the ground as a living substance and aims to establish space through the material cycle. So the first phase is empirical, a testing ground. New profiles enter the village, measuring seismicity, tracking the crystallization of travertine. Curtain-like textiles are woven by villagers and scientists. They act as frameworks for matter to settle. At this early stage, the ground's lithological and seismic layers are read and translated into architectural language by this robotic pole. And this robotic pole begins to work. It injects calcium carbonates from the ground and the harvest from underground travertine into the wire and textile frameworks. These are laid and controlled by both scientists and villagers, creating the first test spaces. So in the first phase, the encounter space acts as a gate. Hinterland ateliers begin testing and witnessing. Research rooms record early results, and a settlement hosts the interdisciplinary team. In the second phase, these frameworks solidify. Calcium carbonates builds up around the textiles, forming partial enclosures. Boundaries are blurred. Workshops begin spilling outside. Villagers begin using the spaces informally. The school becomes temporal, changing with seasons and discoveries. Now the school begins to react to the village. Deposition thickens. Workshops open to the outside, and the robotic pole continues to shape and measure. And calcium carbonate starts to create semi-closures from the hole around here. Ateliers become more porous, connecting with the village. The contingent corner emerges, a humid, strange interior full of broken matter and uncertain actions. The storage rooms here hold the tools, ladders, wires, frames used in the building. And the settlement shifts as new researchers arrive. And the research rooms expand their role, now questioning, provoking, not just recording. The school creates, collects, distributes, scatters, and with the inclusion of the notion of the future, it contains the possibilities of breaking or dismantling the material and reusing it. Finally, the third phase is meshed contingency. The architecture becomes porous and fragmented. Some spaces are open, some sticky and damp, some reused or dismantled. This is no longer a school as we know it, but a recreational organism that allows uncertainty to occur, like a wetland of knowledge. In this phase, uncertainty takes over, the boundaries dissolve, calcium carbonate accumulates everywhere on roofs, around frames, between walls, into the backyard. So the mesh garden, here and there, becomes the heart and open area where school meets river. Backyards absorb residual materials from deposition, forming semi-open pockets. Ateliers become flexible between open and closed. Contingent mesh corner, just over there, is now fuzzy, reticulated field of damp, overlapping spaces. And the robotic pole still operates from the ground, but now contributes to the garden matter. The encounter space has become service-oriented, losing its gateway status. The settlement here continues as a hosting hub, and the research rooms have become archives recording the evolution of the village itself. In this phase, the school is less of a building, more of a living landform. Architectural program considers speculative future scenarios in which the material is dismantled, dissolved, fractured, or eroded after phase 3, culminating in final phase, where diverse profiles collectively engage in contingent actions within various experimental setups. This school doesn't end with construction. It also imagines disassembly. As materials decay, melt, or dissolve back into the ground, new scenarios emerge. Structures are moved, reassembled, or abandoned. This doesn't represent failure. It represents adaptability. Over time, the school records itself through research rooms, material residues, and oral exchanges. It becomes a document of how rural spaces can host experimental futures without erasing their indigenous rhythms. In a world that often rushes towards speed, efficiency, and permanence, the Deposition School offers slowness, fragility, and transformation from the material cycle. It is not just a project of material accumulation, but of relational sedimentation between villagers, scientists, humans, and also non-humans, the past and speculative futures. And it asks, can a school teach us to build with time instead of against it? Can architecture learn to grow, to fail, to become ground again? And lastly, Dönemeç may be a small village on a seismic delta, but perhaps it's the exactly kind of place where the future begins to precipitate. Thank you.